But yeah, but before we continue on to that, we just want to quickly dedicate a little bit of time to Claude from Arsenal Fan TV, who unfortunately passed away. Sometime, was it today or yesterday? The news kind of broke all across Twitter, and everyone's kind of been paying tribute to the guy, which is great to see. I think most people will be familiar with Claude from his time at Arsenal Fan TV, formerly AFTV, or yeah, for Arsenal Fan TV, now known as AFTV. An integral part of the original crew of people that made that channel what it is. An integral part, I'm going to say, in just the history of fan channels, right? And fan reactions, because for the longest time, before even AFTV came along, there was this idea, especially in the UK, maybe it's different in other countries, but there was this kind of weird thing where there was a hierarchy in terms of opinions when it comes to sports, right? A lot of it had to kind of, it was sort of like top down. So if you were a former pro, you kind of got given the platform to say and do whatever you wanted. But then if you were a journalist, you maybe came second and whatever. And then after that, it kind of trickled down. But usually the voice of the fans wasn't really heard. No one really gave a crap. And then the moment Robbie set up, Arsenal Fan TV, and then got those cast of very colourful supporters who had very different views about how they saw the direction Arsenal were going in, the performances on the pitch, it really kind of shined a light on one kind of portion of the fan base, but also gave them a voice. Because the good thing about football, in my opinion, especially with the era of politics that we're living in at the moment, it sort of lets you know where you stand or where you sit in your kind of like influence. Because I think with politics, for some reason, you kind of get the idea that you can kind of affect change by shouting a lot, by hashtagging, by protesting in the streets, but really and truly nothing really changes, right? You get given the illusion of democracy, but it doesn't necessarily exist. The people in power can just do what they want at the end of the day with little to no reprise. And the same thing happens in football, but it's a bit more clear, right? It's a bit more obvious, and you get to kind of just absorb it and just kind of understand that, hey, I love my team more than whoever owns it and whoever's in charge. I'm just going to support them for thick and thin. And it kind of, I don't know what it does to you. It kind of makes you, I wouldn't say mature, but it sort of just allowed you to kind of be a little bit, I won't say disconnected, but you can be invested in it passionately and be very emotionally attached to it, but you can also understand that there's only so far, like there's only so much you can do as one fan. And just having the ability and a platform to kind of vent your displeasure is enough already, right? That kind of gives you a chance to release, and that's what you need. Whereas I think sometimes with these people that are like, obsessed with politics, they get to shout into the void, and they just keep thinking, they keep shouting things are going to change. But at least with fans, we know it's not going to change, but at least we have a platform to do so. So obviously with the fan channels, I think they've served a great purpose in that regard. They've really, I think, alleviated a lot of people's stress and angst, especially people that are watching from home and don't get a chance to go to stadiums. You get a chance to vent, share your opinions. Even if you're not on the show, you can leave comments on YouTube and stuff. It's just a nice way to like kind of for fans to express their love and their passion for their club. But of course, on the other side, it can get toxic. It can get a little bit, weird, especially on Twitter, those kind of places where people can, build up narratives and agendas against people. It can also be used as a platform for people to be faceless and criticize you, even though you're putting your face out there. The people that are criticizing you aren't necessarily. So it's a bit of like a one-way sort of attack platform in that regard, right? There's not really much you can do to kind of win, quote unquote, on places like Twitter, but people can kind of attack you and sort of drive this narrative, drag your name in the mud, and kind of bully you in a way, which is not really the greatest thing to kind of go through. I would imagine, especially when you've got like 100 and thousands of people coming and in your mentions, directing to hate towards you every time Arsenal lose, just can just be annoying. But again, like I said, Claude was one of my faves. Definitely somebody who I kind of thought was a good representative of Arsenal fans. He kind of had a good balance of being very knee-jerk and reactionary, very level-headed, very passionate, very delusional. Everything like a real fan of a team is, right? Encapsulated into one person. Of course, he had his issues. That's kind of been spoken about. It's probably not the time to say it. Kind of want to celebrate his life more so. Just play a couple clips. And of course, unfortunately, his time at AFTV came to an end, due to some unsavory things he said during a match thing, which again I thought wasn't really handled the best at the time. But water under the bridge, I'm sure they were able to kind of reconcile that things behind the scenes. But it's just great that in an era where a lot of people, fans, customers in general, you can be a bit voiceless, that these platforms do exist in general. And I think even though when AFTV first came around, most football fans, myself included, were kind of thumbing our nose at it and scoffing at it, thinking, oh, these fans are so cringe, these fans are so cringe. But then eventually, when every single club in the country started to have their own fan channels, we started to recognize everyone has a portion of their fans that are similar to the Arsenal fan TVs, right? They exist in every single fan base. And that's what keeps fan bases interesting. That's what makes supporting a club interesting, right? Why support a club if you can't be delusional? There's no real point in that regard. You must just be a general fan of football in general. So yeah, big up Claude again. Thoughts and prayers go out to everyone associated with him and his family. And I'll just play a couple of clips here that I found on your Twitter space of some of his highlights. This is courtesy of a guy called Papa Pinkus. It says, listen to this short speech from Claude made to Robbie during AFTV's 5th anniversary. What an effing man, in a much better place with his mum now. Let's play the video.
2012, this guy gave me a chance to speak. Yeah, no one else would. All the snobby podcasters won't have me on. But this guy gave me a chance to speak, and I'm very grateful for you, and you deserve every success that you've made of it, right? You helped me when I was down. I was really on my low. You came and saved me. You came and saved me when I was on real low, and I really appreciate that. You are not only, you are my mate. You're like a brother to me, mate, and I love you. 2012.
What a legend. And then another one. Says here, this was always made my favourite Claude interview from AFTV. Just perfect encapsulated what an absolute gentleman he was and what also meant. Rest easy. Let's play this one.
He worked his socks off. I know. And he delivered my cup final ticket, and I'm really proud of him for that. No, listen, no. I'm so happy because... No, I'm so happy. But also because there's people that are no longer with us, like Martin, Josie, all these people, all Arsenal fans that have left, departed, that up there. I'm happy for them because they're not here to see it, but you know they would have been proud to say we've actually broken that 9-year stint, and I'm delighted for these fucking fans who are the most patient fans in the world, by the way, the most patient fans in the world, the best fans in the world, they're fucking brilliant fans. I'm so fucking proud of you all. They kept at it, and we've 9 years, we've waited for this trophy. 49 undefeated. 49, 49, I say. 49, undefeated. They would do all the Arsenal way. Listen. No, we've got to go on now. This is just the start. We've got to go on. I want some money spent in the summer. All right, nice, decent striker. Let's take this on another level because this is a massive club.
Another one. And then, of course, his iconic catchphrase here at the end, just to kind of cap it all off. Please lower your volume if you're listening to this via headphones.
It's time to go! That's all I was going to ask you.
But yeah, R.I.P. Robbie. I mean, R.I.P. Robbie. So God forbid that touch with R.I.P. Claude. Hope his family and stuff are being well looked after and all that malarkey during this tough time.